Hi, good afternoon. My name is Kevin Voiton. I wanted to teach everyone what is GitHub using Git and how to make a pull request. And so, as developers, as entrepreneurs, as technologists, we're exposed to a lot of new language. Here, we're going to go over some stuff. The purpose of this video is to provide some context about what a lot of the stuff means and how to use it. As a what a good approach everyone should take when learning is just to try to do this 3 or 4 times in a row, and it kind of comes natural. So one of the keys in learning development is you really want to practice it over and over again because you just need to know what it is. And so it's just some really basic knowledge. One of the things we need to learn with being a developer is using GitHub. And that's where we're going to go in using Git and version control. So, what's version control? So, version control is a system of saving files so that you get to track every step of the way. Um, Version control is many different types of version control. One of those version controls is called Git, which GitHub runs off of. And the way that GitHub works is that there's a pathway of saves. So each of these points is a save point. And so if I make another one, we can go and at any point from December 5th and every single save point, we can go to this version of the code base so nothing gets deleted in totality. So we always want to use version control with all of our apps. Just saving on your computer is okay, but it's even better to use version control. It's like the saving on steroids. And so one concept as a developer, what you should realize is that if you have an app, you want to put that app on GitHub. And so now as soon as you do that, you're now saying, hey, the source code is on GitHub. If I download it locally, I may have a version of that source code, but the truth is on GitHub. So whenever I go, I won't, if I need to check something, I'm not going to look locally. I may look here because there might be a difference, and this one's always more accurate. And so a lot of times, there's a lot of different apps with you can have many different branches. You can. There's a lot of benefits of using version control, but ultimately, we want to learn how to use this stuff. And so, if I looked at this app here, so in the earlier video we went over how to download this, but we'll do it again from scratch, so we all can practice repetition. So this app is running this website. And so we can download this, work on it locally, make a pull request, and add it to the code base. And so if I want to go in here and say, all right, I want to make a change to this. Instead of this saying home, I want it to say about us or something. And so what we want to do is to make a pull request into the code base, which means, hey, I want to add code to this code base. And a pull, you're saying, pull request because you're saying, hey, I made some changes. These changes look good. And now I want to add it to the code base. And so the code base we call is master branch. And you can have many different branches. And a branch is just the person's working. It's a separate copy of it. There may be some changes, and we'll go through how to do that. So to start from scratch, if I wanted to download this app first, so I'm going to go into terminal. We learned so typically I usually have a project folder where I do all my projects in. So I'm going to go to that. So I'm hack. So you can go into a folder using CD and ls lists out what's in that folder. So I already have something here called that folder. So I don't want to make it in this folder. So I'm going to go CD test, and there's another one there. So I think I did this before. So I'm going to delete this folder. So when I copy it, I have a new version of it. So git clone downloads the most updated version of this app, or what we might call the latest master branch. And so now we have this download. So ls lists it, and you say cd eldritch to go into the project folder, and I say ls. Now I can see these files are exactly the same as these files here. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And some of these are hidden files like this git ignore, so you don't see that, but you can see this is the same stuff. So the first thing I always have to do is create a virtual environment if there isn't already one. Then I have to, this app's requirements.txt file is saying, hey, this app needs these dependencies. Django is the web application we're using. We do some other things, so we got to then install that into our virtual environment. So second thing we do is activate our virtual environment. Now I know I'm over here. I can see that there's this bubble, and this means I'm in this virtual environment called myenv, which I made in this earlier step. And so now I can always say pip freeze to see what's in my virtual environment. Nothing came back out, so I'm going to say pip install -r require mints.txt. So what this is going to do is going to go through each line and install each of these dependencies. So here, see it said it did all. It's going to go through one by one, and then we do pip freeze to check our virtual environment. And look, this is all installed now. Before last time we did this, so pip freeze tells me, hey, what's installed in my current working environment. If I leave my virtual environment and do pip freeze, it's going to tell me everything that's installed on my computer. And it's even going to say, hey, I don't even know what pip is because I don't have it installed on my computer. I just have it installed through my virtual environment. So I'm going to go back into my virtual environment, activate it. And now can do pip freeze, and look, bam, we have those requirements. So great. So now we've downloaded the app, we've installed the requirements to run the app. Now we can run the app. So I'm going to say Python manage py run server, and we can then go to localhost 8000. Server error. So let's check out, see what that is. So I can open up in Atom or Sublime or whatever you want. So I got to remember where it is here. So whenever I see the server error, I know what this is saying. I need to go to settings, debug equals true, and reload the app. Maybe this is the error. There you go. So now it's running. So now if you want to make a change like this home to be something else, the first thing I will do is say git checkout -b small change. And what this does is say, and if you do git branch, it's going to tell me my branches. So I'm no longer on the main branch, I'm on this small change branch. So git checkout -b creates that branch. And then I'm going to find this and make this change. So it's under static, templates, base. I'm going to look for home right here. If I want to say, home page, so I can save it. Python manage py run server, reload this. It should be updated here. So it says home page instead of home. And so now what I can do is create a pull request. And so I always want to make sure debug equals false before I do this. And we'll get into that later, why. And then you want to do git status, which will tell me the files I changed. So I can look at this and do a quick check to be like, oh, okay, yes, this is the only file I changed. I can then do git diff if I want to see each line that I changed, and look, it's saying, oh, you changed home to home page, and I did that. So then I'm going to do git add, git commit, small change, and say git push origin, and now I forgot the name of the branch already, so I'm going to say git branch to double check. It's called small_change, git push origin small change. So we're pushing. What this is saying, hey, use the language git, which is our version control, push some information. The remote is called origin, and then small change is the name of the branch. So if I was just working on master branch, it would have been git push origin master. So I made this change, and it said upload successful. So I can now go to my GitHub. And now this is where it kind of might be different for everyone. When you could go to the GitHub page, it will give you this yellow box to say, hey, you recently pushed some code. Do you want to make a pull request on this? So this is new. So you'll click on this and you'll make a pull request. And so what is a pull request? So now I'm asking, hey, can somebody review this code? If I was the code base owner, I could just merge it in myself. But someone else's might be the code base owner, and so now this is a chance to say, hey, I want to add this code to this code base. Can you review it and approve it? So it's really powerful to learn. It's really a great way to contribute. And so you say small change, and I would just put a description here like in nav change home. and I can do create a pull request. So the first thing I always do is I will give myself a code review, because if I look at this and I'd be like, oh, this is pretty basic. Okay, that's great. But if there's something here that I can catch, it's really easy to see because they show you exactly the changes, right? So what Git does is it tracks every single character and will just tell you only those characters that are different. So it's like, very powerful. And so, here's a code review. So I'm going to go through here. If I wanted to, I could add comments here like, why did we right? If I was reviewing someone else's thing, I could do this, start a review. I can finish my review. I can say approve. I can't because it's my own pull request, but then I can say, looks good to me. So this is what I would do if someone added me to review the code, the pull request. And so here, so after now going back to say I made this, so I checked it myself. Then I would maybe add someone here as a reviewer so that they could check it. And then as soon as everyone checks it, you can go down, click merge pull request, and it's going to merge this in. And we can actually look at it right here. So now I made this change, this branch, and then I merge those changes in. So now if I go here and I just go to the code base because it's merged in, and then I go to commits, wherever that is right here. You can see here is that small change that we added, right? So it's now added to the permanent history of information because we merged it in and pressed that green button. So, you typically you want to wait on pushing that green button till you get a code review and people say okay. But the importance is that you just, as soon as you merge it in, it becomes part of that code base. So, we move pretty quick, but really the summary is that there's only a couple things you really need to know. Is that if you're working on a branch, these are the 4 commands you need to do. If you're working on master, these are the 4 commands you want to do here. So I try to say everyone should try to do at least 1 pull request a day. That's how you can kind of track your progress as a developer. Most people on their GitHub page, they'll have this graph here, which shows how many pull requests they're doing, how many commits they're doing. And, you can see here, you can see how active someone is as a developer. So it's really great to just always do pull requests, kind of get in and do work like that. So so these are I'll add this in the YouTube comments, but this is basic steps to do this. And don't feel bad if you feel a little bit overwhelmed. The goal is just to do this a couple times. So your task is, can you make a pull request on a GitHub project, right? And then once you can do that a couple times, it's really easy and comes second nature. All right, thanks so much, everyone, and hope you have a good day, and hopefully you're making some great pull requests out there.